Ladies and gentlemen, imagine what your life could look like if you made just a tiny improvement every single day. Not a massive leap, not a grand gesture, just 1%. At first glance, it may seem insignificant, but that small, deliberate effort compounds over time, creating monumental changes in your life. This idea of getting 1% better every day is not about instant transformation. It's about commitment, consistency, and the power of small, incremental progress. The beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment to start. You simply need to focus on the little things you can improve today, right here, right now. It could be reading one more page of a book, exercising for 5 extra minutes, or replacing one unhealthy habit with a better one. These small actions might not feel life-changing in the moment, but when compounded over weeks, months, and years, they lead to extraordinary results. Consistency is the magic ingredient that fuels this journey. Think about it. Improving by just 1% every day doesn't feel like a stretch. It's manageable, and because it's manageable, you're more likely to stick with it. Over time, these small efforts snowball into habits, and habits shape your identity. You start to see yourself differently, not as someone trying to improve, but as someone who embodies the qualities you're working toward. The secret is not in doing something monumental once, but in doing something meaningful consistently. Here's the powerful truth. The effort you put in compounds, just like interest in a savings account. If you improve by 1% every day, in a year, you won't just be 365% better. You'll be 37 times better. That's the power of exponential growth. But it works both ways. Neglecting those small efforts, allowing yourself to slip backward by 1% each day, leads to a downward spiral. Every choice you make, no matter how small, is either moving you closer to your goals or further away from them. The question is, which direction are you heading? The process of getting 1% better every day also teaches you patience. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, this philosophy reminds us that true, meaningful change takes time. The first few days or weeks may not yield visible results. You might feel like your efforts are too small to matter, but that's where most people give up. Right before the compounding effect has a chance to kick in. Success is not about intensity, it's about consistency over time. Trust the process, even when the results are invisible, because they're happening beneath the surface. Getting 1% better every day also frees you from the pressure of perfection. You don't need to have all the answers or achieve massive wins right away. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to be better than yesterday. Each day gives you a fresh start, an opportunity to correct course, and a chance to build on what you've already accomplished. It's about progress, not perfection. The small victories you achieve today build confidence and momentum, inspiring you to keep going. This approach also changes your relationship with failure. When you're focused on small improvements, a setback doesn't feel like the end of the world. It's just a bump in the road. You learn from it, adjust, and keep moving forward. Failure becomes part of the process, not a reason to quit. It's a chance to grow stronger and wiser, to refine your efforts and come back even better. When you adopt the mindset of 1% better, you realize that the only failure is giving up entirely. This philosophy applies to every area of your life, your health, your career, your relationships, and your personal growth. It's not about making dramatic changes. It's about stacking small, consistent improvements over time. Those tiny actions compound into something far greater than the sum of their parts. Day by day, you build a stronger foundation, and before you know it, you've transformed your life. Today, identify one small thing you can do to be 1% better than you were yesterday. Commit to it, repeat it, and let the power of consistency and compounding work for you. Remember, greatness isn't achieved in a single moment. It's built through the small intentional actions you take every single day. It's not about where you start, it's about how you grow step by step into the person you're meant to become. The power of small improvements often goes unnoticed because we tend to focus on massive, life-altering changes when thinking about progress. However, the reality is that significant growth is rarely the result of sudden leaps. Instead, it is the product of consistent, incremental steps forward. When you aim to improve just 1% every day, you set yourself on a path of steady and sustainable growth. This approach might seem minor at first, but over time it leads to extraordinary results, far beyond what you may initially expect. Small improvements are manageable and accessible. They don't require dramatic lifestyle changes or unrealistic commitments. Instead, they focus on what you can do today, no matter how small it may seem. For example, if you want to improve your fitness, you don't have to commit to running a marathon immediately. Instead, start with a short walk, a few push-ups, or a single healthy meal. These small actions may not feel transformational on their own, but they build momentum and create a foundation for larger achievements down the line. The key is to focus on what is achievable today without worrying about the end goal. The magic of small improvements lies in their compounding effect. When you improve by just 1% each day, those small gains start to add up. It's not linear growth, it's exponential. Over weeks and months, the cumulative impact of those daily efforts becomes apparent, and you find yourself far ahead of where you started. This compounding effect is similar to saving money and watching it grow with interest. Each deposit might seem insignificant, but over time, the total grows into something substantial. The same principle applies to your habits, skills, and goals. Every small improvement compounds into significant growth. This philosophy also eliminates the pressure of perfection. When you focus on small improvements, you don't have to achieve everything all at once. You don't have to be perfect or make drastic changes. Instead, you focus on making today slightly better than yesterday. This mindset removes the fear of failure because the stakes are smaller and it becomes easier to recover from setbacks. By prioritizing progress over perfection, you stay motivated and avoid the burnout that often comes with trying to do too much too soon. Small improvements are also sustainable. Big, dramatic efforts are often unsustainable because they require an intense burst of energy and motivation, which can be hard to maintain over the long term. In contrast, a 1% improvement is manageable, even on days when you're tired, busy, or unmotivated. It's not about doing everything perfectly, but about doing something consistently. Over time, these small, sustainable actions become habits, and those habits become part of your identity. The power of small improvements lies in their simplicity and consistency. By focusing on what you can do today, just one small step forward, you set yourself up for long-term success. The process may feel slow at first, but as those small changes compound, you'll realize how far you've come. It's not about making one big leap, it's about taking one small, intentional step forward every single day. That is how meaningful progress is made. Consistency is the bedrock of meaningful progress. While we often admire the results of great achievements, what we don't see is the daily effort and discipline that created those outcomes. Success is not built on occasional bursts of effort, but on small, steady actions repeated over time. The beauty of consistency is that it transforms what might seem insignificant into something extraordinary. It's not about how much you do in one day, it's about what you do every day. When you focus on being consistent, you remove the pressure to make drastic changes or achieve instant results. This makes the process more sustainable and approachable. For example, instead of trying to lose 20 pounds in a month through an extreme diet and exhausting workout plan, you commit to eating slightly healthier and moving your body for 20 minutes each day. These small, manageable actions don't feel overwhelming, so you're more likely to stick with them. Over time, this consistency adds up and the results become undeniable. The power of consistency lies in its ability to build habits. When you repeat a small action regularly, it becomes automatic. At first, it may take effort and intention, but as you continue, it becomes a part of who you are. You no longer have to think about brushing your teeth every morning or putting on your seatbelt when you get in a car because these actions have become habits. The same can happen with any positive behavior, whether it's exercising, reading, or practicing gratitude. Consistency is what turns a one-time effort into a lifelong habit, and habits are what shape your identity and your future. Consistency also creates momentum. Each small action you take builds on the one before it, propelling you forward. Momentum makes it easier to keep going because the effort you put in today makes tomorrow's effort feel lighter. Think of it like pushing a snowball down a hill. At first, it's small and takes effort to move, but as it rolls, it gathers more snow and speed, eventually growing into something much larger and more powerful than when it started. Consistency fuels this process, turning small beginnings into significant accomplishments. Another advantage of consistency is that it helps you weather the inevitable ups and downs of life. There will be days when you feel unmotivated, tired, or discouraged, but if you've built a habit of consistency, you're more likely to push through. When the stakes are small, just a 1% improvement, you don't have to rely on motivation to keep going. You've trained yourself to take action regardless of how you feel in the moment. And so you want to fail to change your life, then you must be willing to fail to change your moment. This resilience keeps you on track even during challenging times. Consistency over time is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. It's easy to put in a lot of effort for a short period, but real progress comes from showing up day after day, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Over time, those consistent efforts compound and the results become visible. It may not feel glamorous or exciting in the moment, but consistency is what transforms dreams into reality. The key is to trust the process, stay committed, and remember that every small, consistent action you take is a step closer to your goals. The compounding effect is one of the most powerful forces in life. It's the principle that small, consistent efforts, when repeated over time, lead to exponential growth and remarkable results. At first, the changes might feel insignificant, you might not see immediate results, and it can be easy to dismiss the effort as meaningless. But the true magic of compounding lies in its cumulative power. The longer you stay consistent, the more profound the results become. Imagine planting a seed. At first, all you see is dirt. You water it every day, but for a while it seems like nothing is happening. Then a small sprout emerges, and you begin to see progress. Over time, with consistent care and attention, that sprout grows into a tree. Eventually, the tree bears fruit. The compounding effect works the same way in your life. The small actions you take today may not produce visible results immediately, but they are laying the foundation for exponential growth in the future. The beauty of compounding is that it applies to every area of life. In personal growth, reading a single page of a book might seem trivial, but if you read one page every day, you'll finish multiple books by the end of the year. In health, choosing a glass of water over a sugary drink might not make a noticeable difference today, but repeated over weeks and months, it contributes to a healthier body and mind. In relationships, a single kind gesture might not transform a connection overnight, but consistent acts of love and care deepen bonds over time. The small things, repeated consistently, create big results. However, the compounding effect also works in the opposite direction. Small, negative habits can compound just as powerfully, but with detrimental results. Skipping one workout or eating one unhealthy meal might not seem like a big deal, but repeated over time, these choices add up. Small acts of procrastination, neglect, or avoidance compound into larger problems down the road. This is why it's crucial to recognize the impact of every small decision you make. Each choice is either moving you closer to your goals or further away from them. There is no neutral ground when it comes to compounding. The compounding effect teaches us that consistency is more important than intensity. It's not about making giant leaps. It's about taking small, deliberate steps every day. Many people fail to see the value of this principle because they are impatient for quick results. They try to sprint toward success only to burn out or give up when the results don't come fast enough. But those who embrace the power of compounding understand that success is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about persistence and trust in the process. The challenge lies in staying patient and committed, especially during the early stages when the results are invisible. This is where many people give up, right before the compounding effect has a chance to take hold. But if you can push through the initial phase, you'll eventually reach a tipping point where the results accelerate and the growth becomes undeniable. The key is to focus on the process, not the outcome, and to trust that small, consistent actions will lead to extraordinary results over time. The journey to self-improvement often feels overwhelming because we mistakenly believe we need to be perfect to succeed. But the truth is, perfection is not the goal. Progress is. When you embrace the mindset of progress over perfection, you free yourself from the unrealistic pressure to get everything right on the first try. Instead, you focus on becoming just a little better than you were yesterday, one step at a time. This shift in mindset is not only liberating, but also far more effective in creating lasting change. The problem with striving for perfection is that it can paralyze you. When you set impossible standards for yourself, every action feels like it has to be flawless and every misstep feels like failure. This creates fear of starting, fear of making mistakes, fear of falling short. But progress doesn't demand perfection, it simply requires action. By focusing on progress, you give yourself permission to start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. The most important thing is not how perfect your efforts are, but that you're moving forward. Progress is about celebrating small victories. Too often we overlook the small wins because we're fixated on the big goals. But every step forward, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. If your goal is to become healthier, drinking an extra glass of water today is progress. If your goal is to learn a new skill, practicing for just 10 minutes is progress. These small actions may not seem like much in isolation, but when compounded over time, they lead to meaningful change. Recognizing and celebrating these small wins keeps you motivated and reinforces the belief that you're capable of growth. Focusing on progress also helps you reframe mistakes and setbacks. When you let go of the need for perfection, you stop seeing mistakes as failures and start seeing them as opportunities to learn and improve. Every setback becomes a chance to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? This mindset not only keeps you moving forward, but also builds resilience. You realize that progress is not a straight line. It's a series of ups and downs, adjustments and refinements. And that's okay, because growth happens in the process. Another benefit of prioritizing progress is that it allows you to start taking action today. Perfection often feels out of reach, which makes it easy to procrastinate or avoid taking action altogether. But progress is achievable right now. You don't need to have all the answers or the perfect plan to begin. You just need to take the first step, no matter how small. Once you start, momentum builds, and each step forward becomes a little easier. Progress creates motivation, not the other way around. By focusing on progress, you create a positive feedback loop. Each small improvement reinforces your belief in yourself and your ability to grow. Over time, these small, consistent efforts shape your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who's trying to improve. You see yourself as someone who is improving. That subtle shift in self-perception is powerful because it changes how you approach challenges and opportunities. Progress, not perfection, is what transforms dreams into reality. Setbacks are an inevitable part of any journey toward improvement, but they don't have to define your progress. What separates those who succeed from those who give up is their ability to view setbacks, not as failures, but as stepping stones to growth. Resilience is the skill that allows you to bounce back, adapt, and keep moving forward despite challenges. A mindset rooted in small, consistent improvement helps build that resilience because it reframes setbacks as temporary and manageable rather than catastrophic. When you adopt a 1% better mindset, you recognize that perfection is neither necessary nor realistic. You understand that progress is rarely a straight line. It's a series of ups and downs, victories and challenges. This perspective makes setbacks less intimidating because you know they are part of the process. Instead of being derailed by a bad day or an unexpected obstacle, you focus on what you can do next. A single misstep doesn't erase the progress you've already made. It's just one small part of a much larger journey. Resilience starts with how you respond to setbacks. Many people allow challenges to discourage them because they see them as signs that they aren't capable or that their goals are out of reach. But setbacks are not indicators of failure. They are opportunities to learn. Each challenge reveals something valuable, whether it's a flaw in your approach, a skill you need to develop, or an area where you need to adjust your expectations. By reflecting on what went wrong and why, you turn setbacks into lessons that strengthen your future efforts. This mindset shifts your focus from what you've lost to what you've gained. Building resilience also involves letting go of the idea that progress must be perfect or uninterrupted. When you aim to improve by just 1% each day, you allow yourself the flexibility to recover from setbacks without feeling like you've failed. A single missed day or mistake doesn't define your journey. What matters is your ability to get back on track and keep moving forward. This flexibility helps you stay motivated because you're no longer trying to maintain an impossible standard of perfection. Instead, you're focused on the bigger picture, consistent, long-term improvement. Another critical aspect of resilience is self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on yourself when you face setbacks, but beating yourself up doesn't help you move forward. Instead, treat yourself with kindness and understanding, just as you would a friend. Remind yourself that setbacks are normal and that you have the strength to overcome them. Self-compassion creates the emotional safety you need to take risks, try again, and continue striving for improvement. It's not about lowering your standards. It's about giving yourself the grace to grow. Resilience also grows stronger the more you practice it. Each time you overcome a setback, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling challenges. This builds confidence and reinforces the belief that you can navigate obstacles in the future. Over time, resilience becomes part of your identity and setbacks become less intimidating. You stop fearing failure because you know it won't stop you. It will only make you stronger. By embracing setbacks as part of the journey and focusing on the next small step forward, you build a foundation of resilience that supports your long-term success. It's not about avoiding challenges, but learning how to navigate them with strength, grace, and determination. This mindset ensures that no setback, no matter how difficult, can derail your progress or keep you from becoming the person you strive to be. Accountability is one of the most powerful tools for creating lasting change and achieving your goals. It serves as a mirror, reflecting your actions and choices back to you, reminding you of your commitment to growth. The truth is, no matter how strong your intentions are, the journey of self-improvement is rarely a smooth one. There will be moments of doubt, distraction, and fatigue. In those moments, accountability becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded and focused on what truly matters. One of the simplest and most effective ways to build accountability is by making your goals visible. When your goals exist only in your mind, it's easy to ignore them or push them aside when life gets busy. But writing them down, creating a vision board, or setting reminders makes them tangible. Visibility turns your goals from abstract ideas into concrete commitments. It's a constant reminder of what you're working toward and why it's important. For example, if you want to save money, tracking your spending and regularly reviewing your progress ensures you stay mindful of your financial habits. Visibility forces you to confront your choices, making it harder to stray from your path. Another powerful method of accountability is involving others in your journey. Sharing your goals with someone you trust, whether it's a friend, family member, or mentor, adds an extra layer of responsibility. When someone else knows what you're striving for, you're less likely to give up when things get tough because you don't want to disappoint them or yourself. This is not about seeking approval or validation, but about creating a support system that encourages you to stay consistent. A workout buddy, for instance, can make it harder to skip the gym because you've made a promise to show up for them. The act of sharing your goals strengthens your commitment. Regularly tracking your progress is another key aspect of accountability. Measurement gives you clarity on where you stand and how far you've come. It's easy to feel like you're not making progress when you don't have a clear sense of your achievements. But when you track your actions, whether it's the number of pages read, steps taken, or hours dedicated to learning, you can see the cumulative impact of your efforts. Tracking not only keeps you motivated, but also highlights areas where you can improve. It's a reality check that ensures your actions align with your intentions. Accountability also involves honest self-reflection. It's not just about tracking what you've done, but also about evaluating how you're doing and why. Reflecting on your choices allows you to recognize patterns, identify obstacles, and adjust your approach as needed. It's an opportunity to ask yourself tough questions. Am I putting in consistent effort? Are my daily actions aligned with my long-term goals? What can I do differently to improve? This process of reflection keeps you engaged and intentional, preventing you from slipping into autopilot. Accountability is about taking ownership of your journey. It's about understanding that you are responsible for your actions, your growth, and your success. While external tools and support systems can help, the most important form of accountability comes from within. When you commit to being honest with yourself, holding yourself to your own standards, and showing up every day, you create a sense of integrity that fuels your progress. Accountability doesn't just keep you on track, it empowers you to take control of your life and become the person you aspire to be. The journey to getting 1% better every day is not about perfection or monumental leaps. It's about consistency, patience, and a commitment to growth. Small actions compounded over time create extraordinary results. By focusing on building better habits, embracing the power of compounding, trusting in the process of progress over perfection, and cultivating resilience in the face of setbacks, you set yourself on a path of continuous improvement. Accountability serves as the foundation that keeps you grounded and focused, reminding you of your commitment to yourself. This journey is not just about achieving your goals, but about transforming who you are in the process. Every choice you make, every habit you refine, every effort you put forth shapes the person you are becoming. It's about believing in your capacity to grow and trusting that the smallest actions, done consistently, have the power to create a life of purpose, fulfillment, and success. The key is to start today, right where you are, with what you have, and let those small steps lead you to the extraordinary.